friends, and the vegan change is coming, is happening every day on every level. So interesting. I think about this especially because I'm on fasting day now, my gentle juice fasting day, once a week, and it's a big time of change. The moon, yeah, if it's high, full or empty, that's always a big challenge, and that's a big point, and where the moon stands, on which phase. It's also important. We know 11 days after full and both a full and new moon, after 11 days, it has a special position where it's balanced. The mass of the moon and the earth are balancing each other out. They all are attracted by the sun. The sun is the big planet in the middle, the star in the middle of our solar system. There is the sun in the middle. It attracts everything to the inside, and each planet by itself has this attraction, and the earth attracts the moon. Both are attracted by the sun, and so it comes that there are special constellations where the moon has a certain point at this in this trinity, sun, moon and earth, where the balance is perfect, where all the gravity powers are balanced from the moon and the earth. And that the moon has a strong force on the earth. You see it in the water, the tide. The water comes and goes according to the moon. That is science. It's well known. It's nothing to do with mystics. And in the same way, in a similar way, the balance time, the 11th day after full or new moon, 11th day is that day with the balance. So all these 4 days, that's full moon, new moon, and also the 11th day after each, that's 4 days in the month. So that is 4 weeks as a month. So every week, basically, in the average, we have one of these best fasting days. And each of these has a special quality. The full moon has another quality than the new moon. New moon is a new beginning. Full moon, something comes to completion, to an end. And the perfect balance on the 11th day. So you have balance, full and empty, like in the breathing. Inhale, you rise. Then you're on the balance point before you exhale again. At the end of the exhalation, again, it's a balance between the both. So also here, 4 stages that are that are characteristic. And the same with the fasting days. They all have 4 different qualities. All these 4 days in a month. That's very interesting to me, and I can feel the differences. I begin to feel it after some years now of the regular practice once a week, and that's what makes gentle moon fasting, gentle juice fasting so effective. The moon fasting so effective because you have the full effect, and you can learn to feel it. Because if you don't do it the systematic way, you don't really know what changes and what remains. So you don't have an idea how it feels. So I, for example, I'm not the greatest feeler. My senses are not I have not so much inner awareness. I need to learn it systematically, step by step. We need these things. I'm a great thinker. I can do logic, mathematics. I have thoughts. I can write. But feeling is something I have to learn. It's a long story. We are all different. But to me, these systems, the systematic approach, is crucial. And I learned so much, and now I can really begin even to feel the slight difference between each fasting day, each of the 4 fasting days in a month. And that's what I find so amazing. Today I make a nut milk. Nut milks are amazing because they replace the dairy milks. That is the most important thing. In the negative way, we don't have to use animals anymore. And the positive thing is that nut milks and seed milks, they are so much more not only healthy, but also so variety. The flavors you can create with all these different nuts and seeds are beyond what we knew before. We didn't even know before. In former times, we were closer to nature, and we have thousands of different nutrients we could experience, the plants, what we ate, and so. In nature, everything has more variety than in a city, for example. But today, we begin to explore the nuances. Every seed, every nut has a different flavor, and they can combine. And we didn't do that before. We didn't do that before in the kitchen. In our long history of cooking, culinary traditions, we did not, never explore the variety of vegan, of all the nuts and seeds and plant milks, knowing now that the dairy industry and the milk, the different milk kinds we have, are one of the basic part of the Western culture food. Yeah? The milks, many people, they don't want to give up cheese, for example, because they have this long tradition, long culture, yeah, about how their differences are. They're so different, they have soft and hard, and that's definitely something they are knowledgeable about, the people. We are knowledgeable about that. But this, our culture, doesn't even compare to the potential that is in the nut and seed milks we can produce. And that's why, to me, it's so fascinating. I begin to explore these subtleties, and I think this change is also happening in our senses. We learn to explore these different kinds of flavors that we never have experienced before, yeah, that we can be sure of, on this planet at least. So we can explore it and enter a new era, a new door, a new room, space for this cooking. Just the beginning. I'm not saying I'm always raw food. Yeah, raw food is just the easiest way to begin. Cooking with fire and so is also something that's very complex. Fire changes the texture of an ingredient of a plant or so drastically. Yeah, we don't know if it's always. It's not always good, we know. Sometimes the heat destroys nutrients that are very essential. So that is something in raw food that is not happening. We don't have this transformation by heat. But in other ways, heat also can add a positive quality to a food. There are plenty of examples. I don't want to elaborate on that now. All I'm saying is that in trying to eat healthy, yeah, we have a whole new knowledge now about plant-based food and the dangers and the unhealthy aspects of plant food. Yeah, we know in general vegan food is more healthy than animal food. Food from animals. It is not even designed for humans. Only now we learn that. We have the science about it. And now we see in the vegan plant-based food how we can create healthy and delicious food. Yeah, that is both healthy and delicious. That's important. And this is a completely new era. We learn so much more about health in the positive way. Yeah, that is only beginning after the animals have been left off the menu. Then only we begin to explore the inner value of plant-based vegan food. Yeah, and that is our original food, I would say. There is so much to it. But now I'm going to try a new flavor with macadamias and oat milk. Oat milk is one of the most favorite milks because oat is very inexpensive, of course, and it is high in protein. Oat here, I have a half cup of oats here. It's a very healthy cereal and it has no gluten. The thing that oat has is avenin, and the avenin is a kind of gluten, but it is not gluten. It is a protein. Gluten is a protein and avenin is a protein, and both are the glue. Yeah? The glue in a cereal is very important for baking and for traditional cooking. We many things rely on this glue effect, and some people also say this glue effect, this gluten effect, is bad for our health. That is entirely wrong. It's really true. It's not true. It's a hoax, and you can look it up. There is a lot of science about it. Some people are really gluten intolerant, and they should avoid it, of course. But only so little people, not so many. So if you are not gluten intolerant, that is not an issue. But if you have the oats here, you don't even have the gluten. That's why many people also refer to oats. Yeah? It's high in protein, and it has a very strong flavor. Yeah, that is another thing. The protein makes it strong, and you get a lot of energy, but the flavor can also be a little bit strong. So if you only have raw oats, like I do here, it can be a little bit bitter if it rests too long on the shelf. So that's why I put it in the refrigerator, to keep it fresh and to have this strong flavor a little bit reduced. But what I find also very interestingly, if I combine it with macadamia nuts, here the other half, also a half cup of macadamia nuts, yeah, you see, then this flavor, this strong flavor of the oats, and sometimes there in the raw oats seeds, that is balanced. somehow it vanishes. So that's why I thought, wow, why don't I try to make this wonderful oat milk with macadamias? Because only oat milk, that can turn into a little bit bitter flavor sometimes. But I want to try now what happens with the macadamia. And the other side is, I also added more fat to the milk. Oats is high in protein. Macadamia is high in fat. So combining both might make a wonderful milk. You know, basically, milk is a combination of both water and fat. Yeah? Emulsion. The emulsification between water and fat creates milk. So the idea of having milk is always fat and protein. Yeah, basically. So maybe let's see what this oat milk will be like. And I will, to make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit sweetness to it, I put a little date to it. I have 10 dates here, small dates, because they are pitted, and I will try this with a little bit sweetening. Let's see what happens. Always try for new nut and seed milks, and this one I've been thinking about it for a while now I do it finally. Let's see. I have a liter of water here, but I begin with a smaller amount. I say 3/4 of a liter. Yeah. A little less water, because I want to have the milk a little bit thicker to experience more the flavor. And the more water I put in, the more I dilute the flavor. And the less water I put in, the more it gets creamier. So I want to have it a little bit creamier now. And now let's see. Blender dance. I'm very curious. I'm excited about the new flavor. Does it work? What does it taste like? And let's see. I have a bowl here, a salad bowl, a large bowl, and as you see, it has a big mouth here. The opening is very big. That's because that is easier for me as a single person to pour the milk into the bowl. If I have only a small bag, yeah, like this is a large bag, I can put it all over this large opening. And nobody needs to help me now. No second person, no second hand is needed to keep it open, to keep the bag open, to pour in the milk. Let's see. Now the milk has a nice and creamy texture, and the color also is a nice ivory kind color, a little bit yellowish. So that's nice. Looks nice and creamy. Flavor, of course, the fragrance. I can definitely smell the oats here. Oats is a very characteristic flavor. The protein in there, the evenin, has a strong smell. Let's see what it tastes like. First, I have to filter it now. The fiber has to be filtered through the nutmilk bag here. You see, and I see it's not doing that simple here, that easy. If I have just nuts, for example, the filtering here is a lot easier. Now, with the oats here, the filtering takes a little bit longer. I think that is because of the protein in the oats. Is the high high protein content, and this glue that builds. You have this gel-like texture. If you soak the oats or you cook an oatmeal, then you have this gel building. And this is what I guess sits in the pores of this nutmilk bag. This is actually a laundry bag, but it's a kind of, I use it as a kind of a nutmilk bag, and it takes a little bit longer. But that doesn't matter. If I use it next time, the same bag, with an easier ingredient, just only nuts, for example, it's easy again. So I wash it afterwards, and that has to be washed thoroughly, of course. These nutmilk bags, they have to be cleansed thoroughly before using it again and before putting it into the shelf after the job is done. Otherwise, they get dirty. And yes, sometimes I have to put them in the washing machine too, and in the laundry, and really to make sure that they're clean. But next time I use it with another filling, yeah, well, not only it is easy again, so no problem. They are still keeping, and I have to do a little bit more now, a little bit pressing a little bit stronger, milking the nutmilk bag a little bit longer. There's a lot in there, and a lot of this glue is in the pores. It makes it difficult, but the more I'm excited what it will taste like. I want to see that. Okay, it's very creamy now. I have to press. Be careful not to tear the bag apart. But yeah, oh, it's a lot of glue in there. Let's see. I come back in a moment, I wash my hands, and I show you the result. Just a second. This is my macadamia oat milk, and I will test it now. It looks amazing. I poured it into this container you see, and now we'll taste it. It's a nice creamy texture, but what about the flavor? Wow, wow, that is a cool flavor. There is the oatmeal flavor, fresh oat, I mean, nothing can beat that. It's really fresh, it has really this little salt, there's a little dot of an eye, you have something really fresh, it has a different flavor, most of the times. Not always, but most of the times this freshness has a little extra something. It's in there. And it is not this sharpness, this what oats, fresh oats can have sometimes, this, I only have a little spoon now, taste a little spoon. But that's very amazing, this flavor. The strength is there, the energy is there, the power, and at the same time is the gentleness of the macadamia nut. You see, this is what it looks like, and it's pretty creamy. I am really curious now what it tastes like if I drink the whole glass. And then, if that is good, I will try to use it in other dishes, in creams, maybe in cheese even, I don't know, let's see. That's very interesting. Well, let's see, I'm so excited. Macadamia and oats, this is the thing. Taken away this a little bit too strong flavor from the oats with the macadamia nut. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoy. If so, give me a thumbs up, like my video, subscribe Any Vegan on YouTube, have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. And if you are more interested in gentle juice fasting and tree yoga moon fasting, go to the Facebook page. There we have a Facebook page called Tree Yoga Moon Fasting. I post a new video with a juice or a milk every week, and a fasting calendar for the best days, all these things. See you soon.